important about arts education is that it teaches us about visual literacy, and it improves your visual literacy skills. So it's not just about being able to read an artwork. By making art, by talking about art, by having the chance to engage with art, you're learning how to read our culture. We're all about billboards, we're all about magazines, we're all about TV. And being able to read critically or think critically lets you be active about what you're taking in and understanding it. You're not just a passive spectator, you get to really participate.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I was thinking.
I manage the Weekly Mentor Program for Free Arts, which is the longest term mentoring program that we offer that works only with children. So essentially it's a 25-week arts-based mentoring program that runs along the academic year.
I've been in the Weekly Mentoring Program for 8 years.
I found a lot about myself. You know, I like the program because it, like they said, no art is wrong. That made me feel good. That means that in there you won't feel like you're stupid. Or nobody in there, they don't allow you to say stupid in there.
The impact that it has is that the children are just doing something different every week. They're working towards these projects and they see a result at the end, and it's something that they don't really have like in school or anything like that, and it's just fun and enriching for them.
So the country we are going to is Mali, and actually the festival that we're doing today is influenced by the French, called Fête des Masques. Fête des Masques. Fête des Masques. Does anybody have any guesses what that means?
It's a mask.
That's good. And so do you guys have any idea what fête might be? What are you studying this? Fête.
A festival mask.
Very nice.
In 2008, the Department of Education published a study on the school systems in New York, and they found that only, I believe, 4% of elementary schools in New York City meet the arts requirements as set out by the Department of Education. And within that, they have, I think, one art teacher for every 406 students. That's a stat that's across the board in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, which is pretty shocking.
This is our memory box. And as you see, there's little treasure boxes on it, and it's filled with pebbles.
Like if she needed a project done for school, you're there to help us, because a lot of times we cannot afford these materials. And you'll give us these materials for her to do something for, like the Hispanic Fair, the Black History Month, a project for science. We didn't have the materials. And you came through and you gave us these materials.
What Free Arts does is not just arts. We combine arts and mentoring, which is pretty unique. We had an evaluation consultant actually do a study of our programs, and she was looking for organizations to compare us to in New York, and she couldn't find any who were working the way that we were. And what we're trying to provide with arts and mentoring are really a support system.
These programs are helping children in need. They're helping children that are from disadvantaged backgrounds, and they're helping them succeed through the obstacles. And that's what Free Arts has done for Stratford, and we hope that it's doing that for all of the programs that they participate in as well.
We think of the arts, and I think it's seen as a maybe extraneous subject, you know, the first thing that can be cut, you know, the arts funding. Creativity and creative thinking are at the root of skills like problem solving and communication, and those come into play throughout our lives and in every subject that you study. You know, the ability to do that is really important.
Being in Free Arts have changed as far as being more patient with myself, more patient with my daughter, and I respect her boundaries more. I respect what she says. You know?
Being in Free Arts has helped me be more patient and understanding with my mother, and it helps me try and talk it out with her if we have a disagreement.
She's had this for years, because you can see how little she is in this picture, how she was like, what, 7? Something like that. She was 7 years old, and this is how we made it.
In New York City at this point, 1 in 5 families in the city are living in poverty. That's an official statistic. That is a statistic that maybe doesn't even reflect the real situation. And there are a lot of risk factors with being in poverty, which we all know, but I think they're worth saying again. You risk things like poor nutrition because you can't afford to buy the foods that you need. You risk a lack of resources or access to resources, including key things like healthcare if you can't afford insurance. You also risk, landing with your family in a neighborhood where you're going to encounter dangers like drugs and gangs and violence.
There's quite a bit of negative things in this community. Like, you have quite a few gang fights, coming in from school in the daytime. And it sometimes can be very bad. This block is not that great. There's always something going on down the block at the store in front of this building. There's always something going on, and it's not good. Because you have a lot of obstacles out there in the neighborhood, and it's a lot of drugs around. It was just that I sort of shut myself out. That's why the PAC program is very important to me, because I don't really go outside that much.
We have, no illusions at Free Arts that we can take away these risk factors. Nobody can, whatever social service programming you're offering. But what we can do, providing mentoring and art services, is set up kids and families to make positive choices.
That's why it's good to have Free Arts in the PAC, because they give you a different outlook on life. Because living something like this all the time and kids don't see nothing else, sometimes their behaviors become very, very negative. And Free Arts, it gives you a different outlook. It makes you feel have a self-worth. And sometimes you have Free Arts instilled in you after so many years, even though all that bad stuff happened to you out there, you have something to hold on to and say, well, I know it's some good,
This is my treasure map. There's the cover of it.
This is my treasure map. I have a gold background because these are like people are finding treasures. These are little pebbles. This is a man looking out at the nighttime, wondering how to get where he's going.
You walk and there's the treasure. This really takes place in my house. It's my secret stash of candy. It's important that Free Arts is free because in this recession, there's not really a lot of money going around.
Obviously, the crash in 2008 affected everybody, and it had a huge impact on nonprofits.
There's a lot of closings, and it's hard to get a job now. People are getting laid off.
We did not cut programming to any of the agencies that depended on us. We kept, providing the same number of services, working with the same number of partner agencies. So we really, as a team, had to pull together. Job roles shifted a little bit. We took on responsibilities of the people who left. All of us were willing to work the overtime that needed to happen, for better or for worse.
The mentors, they say, how they live all the way in Brooklyn, and they come all this way just to be here for an hour and 30 minutes. And they don't have to do it. So it makes me think I should do a better job and behave and do my work and have fun, because you kind of owe it to them to do a good job.
The willingness to, work the overtime, which comes from believing in the mission. I worked a lot of overtime, but I did it because I believe in what we do, and I wanted to make sure that all of the volunteers in our program still had the same quality experience, and that all of the kids that depended on us still, got the arts programming that they expected.
All right, let's go.